Hello students, this is the part 2 video for chapter number 4 from history, and your chapter is Mughal Empire. In last video we have ended with a slide with the numerous rulers name. So in detail we are going to learn in this video and the other topics also. So here are the Mughal emperors, how they have established their kingdom, for how much they have lasted their ruling period, who were the next successor, that all thing we are going to learn here. So the very first Mughal ruler was Babur. He has ruled from 1526 to 1530 and his full name was Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur. 1526 defeated Ibrahim Lodi and his Afghan supporter at the Panipat, that already we have covered in the previous slides. In 1527 defeated Rana Sangha, the Rajput rulers and allies at Kanua. Next, in 1528 he has defeated the Rajput at Chanderi, established control over Agra and Delhi before his death. So after him, who was the next successor? Humayun. So he has ruled for two period of time, that is from 1530 to 1540, and nextly he has ruled in 1555 to 1556. His full name is Mirza Nazaruddin Beg Muhammad Khan Humayun. Humayun divided his inheritance according to the will of his father. His brothers were each given a province. Now why they has followed this kind of system, that also we have covered in the last slide, that they were not following the succession tradition like primogeniture. They were following the succession tradition of what kind of system? Copercenary. So what is primogeniture? In which the elder son gets the inheritance of his father, but in copercenary the whole state or whole empire is divided, or the inheritance is divided amongst the son. So here Humayun has divided his inheritance according to the will of his father. So his brothers were each given a provinces. Provinces here means state. The ambition of his brother Mirza Kamran weakened Humayun's cause against Afghan competitors. Now what was his ambition, and why the Humayun's causes and against Afghan competitors, that we are going to learn. Sher Khan defeated Humayun at Chausa in the year of 1539 and Kannauj in 1540, forcing him to flee to Iran. So because of the Mirza Kamran, his brother's wish, the Sher Khan has defeated Humayun at Chausa. So later on in Kannauj in 1540, so he was forced to flee. He ran away from the kingdom. Then he ran away at Iran, to Iran. So this was the time period that we were considering as 530 to 1540. So after that you can say that kingdom was under the rule of Sher Khan. Secondly, in Iran, Humayun received help from the Safavid Shah and he recaptured Delhi in 1555, but died in an accident that following years. So later on, with the support of Safavid Shah in Iran, he recaptured the Delhi, and in 1555 he recaptured, but later on he was died in the same year in an accident. So the second ruling period was in between 1555 to 1556. So only 1 year for the time period he has ruled. So next successor after Humayun was Akbar. His full name is Abul Fath Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. So Akbar was 13-year-old when he became emperor. His reign can be divided into three periods. Like Humayun's period was divided into two, Akbar's period is divided into three. So first ruling period of Akbar was considered between the 1556 to 1570. Akbar became independent of the regent, that is Bairam Khan, and other members of his domestic staff. Military campaigns were launched against the Suris and other Afghans, against the neighboring kingdom of Malwa and Gondwana, and to suppress the revolt of his half-brother Mirza Hakim and the Uzbeks. In 1568, the Sisodia capital of Chittor was seized, and in 1569, Ranthambore. So, in first period, that is between 1556 to 1570, so his Akbar became an independent from whom? From his uncle, that was called the Bairam Khan. In short, he was a noble who was helping out in Akbar's ruling period. But later on he became independent and other member of his domestic sub. So he don't need his noble, that is Bairam Khan, and the other members which were helping Akbar in his ruling. So he has started the military campaign against whom? Suris and Afghans, and also the neighboring kingdoms of Malwa and Gondwana. So later on he has suppressed his half brother who was known as Mirza Hakim and the Uzbeks. So Uzbeks were already the threat from the starting of the Mughal establishment of their kingdoms. Now, in 1568, the Sisodia capital of Chittor was seized by Akbar, and in 1569, the Ranthambore. So, next period of Akbar's ruling was considered as in between 1570 to 1585. Military campaigns in Gujarat were followed by campaigns in the east in Bihar, then Bengal and Orissa. These campaigns were complicated by the 1579 to 1580 revolt in support of Mirza Hakim. The third period was considered as between the 1585 to 1605, the expansion of Akbar's empire. It was considered as campaigns to the northwest, that is Kandahar was seized from the Safavids. Then Kashmir was annexed, as also the Kabul after the death of Mirza Hakim, the half-brother of the Akbar. Campaign in the Deccan started, and Berar, Khandesh, parts of the Ahmednagar were annexed. So this whole portion was being controlled by or conquered by the Akbar. In last year of his reign, Akbar was distracted by the rebellion of Prince Salim, the future emperor of, or the Jahangir, you can say. So the next emperor or next successor, you can say, the Emperor Jahangir, or he is also known as the Salim, Prince Salim. And his full name is Mirza Nuruddin Beg Muhammad Khan Salim. So after getting the ruling period or succession of the throne, he was known to be as the Jahangir. He got the title. Military campaign started by the Akbar continued. That we have learnt how they extended their empire. So military campaign that was already started with the Akbar's period, that was continued by Jahangir. The Sisodia ruler of Mewar, Amar Singh, accepted Mughal services. Less successful campaign against the Sikh, the Ahoms, the Ahmednagar followed. Because they were not ready, the Sisodia ruler of Mewar, they accepted the Mughal services. Prince Khurram, the future emperor, that is Shah Jahan, rebelled in the last year of his reign. The effort Noor Jahan, Jahangir's wife, to marginalize him were unsuccessful. So Jahangir was being opposed by the next successor, that was the Shah Jahan, Emperor Shah Jahan. He was also known as Prince Khurram, and he was supported by his wife, that is Noor Jahan. She was considered as one of the wisest wife, and always helping out his husband in the ruling period. But it became unsuccessful. Now after him, Jahangir, the next successor was the Shah Jahan. His full name is Alazad Abul Muzaffar Shahab Uddin Muhammad Shah Jahan. So his ruling period was considered between the 627 to 1658. Mughal campaigns continued in the Deccan under Shah Jahan. So it was started from Akbar, then later on Jahangir. Then the same thing was being continued by the Shah Jahan. The Afghan noble Khan Jahan Lodi rebelled and was defeated. Campaigns were launched against Ahmednagar. The Bundelas were defeated and Orcha seized. So Bundelas were the Rajput rulers. They were defeated and Orcha was seized. In the northwest, the campaign to seize Balkh from the Uzbeks was unsuccessful and Kandahar was lost to the Safavids. So Kandahar was won by whom? The Akbar. But here Shah Jahan has lost the control over Kandahar and that was regained. The control was regained by the Safavids. Now in 1632, Ahmednagar was finally annexed and the Bijapur forces sued for peace. In 1657-1658, there was a conflict over succession among Shah Jahan's son. Aurangzeb was victorious and his three brothers, that is known as the Dara and Sukho, they were being killed by Aurangzeb and he put his father Shah Jahan in prison. So for lifetime he was imprisoned in where? In Agra. So this was the wish of Shah Jahan to imprison him in the Agra's jail, because from there he was able to see the Taj Mahal, as the Shah Jahan had built the Taj Mahal. So he want to always see his beloved wife Mumtaz, and because the Agra's jail where he was being imprisoned, from there it was easily visible. The Taj Mahal was easily visible. So for rest of his life he want to just see through the window the Taj Mahal and his beloved wife. So that wish was being fulfilled by his son Aurangzeb. The two others were killed by Aurangzeb himself. Now Aurangzeb was considered as the cruel ruler and he has extended his kingdom also. His ruling period was considered from 1658 to 1707. Now all the rulers that we learnt about, that like Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir or Shah Jahan, they were having the successful administrative system and also have built many of the monuments and also like the musics also. But Aurangzeb was not liking the music, or he has never built anything as a monument or in the remembrance of him or his ruling period. He was against all this thing, as their Islamic teachings doesn't allow this. So his full name was Muhi al-Din Muhammad. In northeast, the Ahoms were defeated in 1603. So Ahoms were the tribal group, were defeated by Aurangzeb in 1663 but rebelled again in 1680. So they have rebelled against the Aurangzeb. Campaign in the northwest against the Yusufi and Sikh were temporarily successful. Mughal intervention in the succession internal politics of Rathore Rajput of Marwar led to their rebellion. Campaign against the Maratha chieftains Shivaji were initially successful, but Aurangzeb insulted Shivaji, who escaped from Agra, declared himself an independent king and resumed his campaign against the Mughals. So Mughals used to capture the kingdom, then to maintain the balance of the relationship between the ruler and the next successor, they used to give back the kingdom to the actual ruler. But behalf of the Mughal ruler, they have to rule. So in this way they maintain the relationship. But when Shivaji accepted their authority, the Mughals authority, but what happened over here, Aurangzeb has insulted Shivaji. So he escaped from the Agra and he declared himself as an independent king, and he resumed his campaign against the Mughals. Prince Akbar rebelled against Aurangzeb and received support from Maratha and Deccan Sultanate. He finally fled to Safavid Iran. Secondly, after Akbar's rebellion, Aurangzeb sent armies against the Deccan Sultanate. Birchapur was annexed in 1685 and Golconda in 1687. From 1698, Aurangzeb personally managed campaign in the Deccan against the Marathas, who started guerrilla warfare. So as he has declared himself an independent kingdom, he resumed a campaign against the Mughals. So he went in the Deccan, in the forest areas, and from there he has started the guerrilla warfare. Aurangzeb also had to face the rebellion in the north of Sikh Jats and Satnamis, in the northeast of the Ahom, and in the Deccan of the Marathas. This we are going to learn later in 7th, 8th chapter. His death was followed by the succession conflict amongst his son. As I said, there was a system, that is copper scenery. They were not following the traditional succession like the primogeniture. So the all sons were having conflict that who will be the next successor of the throne. So this was the whole ruling period of the Mughal emperor. The major campaigns and event, how they have established, how have they seized, controlled the regions of different parts of India. So the next topic we are going to cover in the next video. Hope you have understood this. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.